By chance, I slipped into the night's rehearsal, her movements elegant and refined with fine accompaniment to her haunting voice. I watched in astonished admiration at the stark contrast from the faded memory of carefree girl. With a last-minute cheap bouquet in hand, I nervously made my way to her dressing room filled with shuddering congratulations and nostalgic platitudes. I had been ready to knock and announce myself when I noticed a crack in the door. I still didn't understand what I saw. The man loomed over with his strange movements and curling smoke. I watched her pale face, dazed and unaware, never reacting to the strange ringing from the bell in his hand. Another memory resurfaced. She always had a lovely voice, befitting of her rosy appearance. Yet no matter how she tried, she could never abate her only flaw of being hopelessly tone deaf. I thought she had finally overcome with this years of training and hard work, yet I watched the pair. My mind began to cloud with doubt and fear. A surge of revulsion knotted in my throat when his hand caressed her skin. To this day, I regret not bursting into that dressing room to find out more. Instead, I left. And now I find myself sitting in the dark, empty rows at the final rehearsal. Her movements, still elegant and refined, were an exact copy of yesterday. I could see the vague outline of the man in the private balcony, knowing he must have been watching her intensely as I. Unlike yesterday, I was overcome with anxiety as her voice rang out like a perfect recording. I had to do something. My undelivered bouquet was waiting in the apartment floor. Today I had a knife sharp and shiny from the restless night. Her song was nearing its end. My eyes flickered between her and the man on the balcony. The longer I observed, the more doll-like she began. The longer I observed, the more doll-like she became, moving with masterful instruction as if possessed. I walked towards the stage, curious that this grand hall was so empty. Without a single obstacle, I was only a few steps away. My presence did not seem to register as she continued to perform splendidly. A quick swing, and the deed was done. She finally looked at me, stared at me in the confused disbelief and horror. I was made to think that the flicker of gratitude would have awaited me. Instead, her face continued to contort, her delicate hands grasping at her throat. I could hear a raging roar from the direction of the opera box. Not a trace of despair. I freed her from that man. Naturally, I was thrown into a cell, and endless hours into the dark, I remembered how I cradled her broken body. I saved her. The fabric twisted in my hands as I coiled the sturdy knot. I will see her again. Ending 1. Though I clearly remember the events of her dressing room, I must have misunderstood something. Theater was often filled with strange superstitions and those who clung to them. Perhaps it had been an erratic ritual for luck. I repeated these thoughts in my head, ignoring the knife at my belt. I slipped out quietly, procured a strong tincture on my way home, and slept deeply. I missed the opening of the night of the show, another eternal regret. It was the final performance. The newspaper called it tragedy of the century. She had enthralled the audience, leaving them ready and wanting for more. Yet she collapsed before the next performance and rapidly succumbed to her final slumber. That man disappeared. I did nothing, and she was dead. Forgive me. The weight of my knife was heavy on my belt. I still did not know what I had done to her. I reached out for his shoulder, intending to find the truth. My other hand was at my side, ready to unsheath my weapon if necessary. He jolted at the touch, practically falling out of his chair. Before I could speak, a shrill scream burst from the stage. I turned to see her collapse as stagehands rushed over to her aid. The man pushed me out of the way, and I soon followed him down the stairs. Contrary to my expectations, he did not join the frantic crowd on the stage. Instead, I heard the clattering of the exit doors, soon drowned out by the arrival of paramedics, and never saw that man again. In the following days, the headlines were filled with stories of her short-lived legacy. She had died on the way to the hospital. After her funeral, it did not take long for the public to forget her. If only I could forget as well. It was startling, easy to slit his throat. I stumbled back, suddenly transfixed by the shine of the blood on my blade. The weight of my actions finally hit. I fled the balcony box, practically hurling myself down the stairs into the street. I threw the knife into the river and drank myself to sleep. Strangely, there was no morning news of a grisly murder. Instead, a mere footnote announced her canceled performances and rumor of an early retirement. Against my better judgment, I sought out her company over lunch. When I casually questioned her, she smiled and simply said that her priorities have changed. For the first time, I could see echoes of my childhood friend within her. She did not mention that man. A week later, she died. As I laid flowers on her grave, I wondered if I had helped her at all.